But yeah, so I mean, I think, you know, at this point, you know, just anything else that you'd like to add, I think, that I haven't, you know, brought up or...
I'd like to make a comment about the trial.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, that is one thing I meant to get back to. If you can tell us more about the litigation that you brought.
Well, I think there was many probably discussions among the family in terms of the trial, going to trial, not going to trial. And the primary objective, at least in my estimation, I felt that going to trial, we would get all of the facts out. What really occurred on April 12 of 2011. Not the city and the APD's version of the truth, but the truth as it happened on that day. And I think that being our primary objective with the trial, I think we achieved that. The details of what happened to Christopher in a very short amount of time are known. And all of that misinformation has been set straight.
And if I can follow up on that, that's been extremely important for us to let the public know that there was another side of the story completely different from what the police department was trying to feed us. Because we didn't sue the city for purposes of trying to get rich, trying to get lots of money from the city. That's not what it was all about. Has never been about that. We filed our lawsuit, first of all, because it was the only way to get the city's attention. That's the only thing they understand. That's the only thing that gets their attention. So that was one motivating factor. And then the other motivating factor, as Renetta said, was to try and show and prove that there was another side of the story here. And it was completely different and opposite from what the police had reported and what the media and everybody else had just been so willing to accept.
Well, it's a very common misperception among the general public that when you bring lawsuits against the city that you're going to get rich. You know, you can have the most egregious civil rights violation and you're lucky to get a judgment at all. And the judgments are not, I mean, you do have your $10 million ones and all of that, but those are the exceptions rather than the rule. And litigation takes a lot out of you as a family. It makes you go through a very difficult process. It's not easy, but it is often the first and only time that you can actually get, because you can compel testimony and you can obtain records that they will fight tooth and nail otherwise to keep hidden. And you can put that story out there in a way that really challenges that official, because so much of the official language, it's almost, I mean, you could randomly pick a case and just put in the police reports and not know that that police report really came from another one, because they've learned how to write these things up in a very generic, justifying manner, but under cross-examination. You know, and when you can test, you know, well, why did you use that phrase? Or why did you employ this policy? Or why didn't you follow this policy? Really begins to show just what's going on, both in the particular situation and in general police practices. That without that, we're not getting a glimpse into the full picture of what's going on and what the problem is.
It's true.
Well, thanks.